Hello, everyone. Oh my God, look at this crowd. This is awesome. Welcome. My name's Michael Sun. I'm the VP of Content at Tapas. For those that are unfamiliar with Tapas, we are an open publishing platform where anyone and everyone can publish their stories, whether it's a webcomic or web novel. We're home to over 100,000 stories. We have something for everyone. Our biggest hit is a story that probably a lot of you are familiar with, The Beginning After the End. This is an epic fantasy series that debuted as a novel written by TurtleMe and was later adapted into a webcomic series by Fuyuki23, the artist. Unfortunately, Fuyuki23 couldn't attend Anime New York. He's finishing the series, or this season right now as we speak. Gabby was editing the episode earlier, so but he did record a special video just for the fans here in attendance. So if we could play that.
Hello everyone, Freddy here from Indonesia. I'm Fuyuki23. I'm the main artist from TK. I'm sorry I couldn't make it to the panel, but I want to say thank you so much for all of your support to today. We couldn't have made this far without all of those support. So thank you so much. Shortly, I want to say drawing Tibet has been very challenging for me. Drawing those emotions of the characters, animals, drawing those fantasy stuff has been very challenging for me. And there are many more challenges on the road, and I know that we will go through all of those challenges by having your support with us. So, again, thank you so much for all of your support, and for now, please enjoy the show. Thank you. Bye.
This is all to say that The Beginning After the End is a labor of love, and it's brought together so many creators, staff members. It takes a whole village to make this possible, but it's worth it. I mean, look at all the fans that are here today. It's absolutely incredible. And now, the moment that you've all been waiting for the first time ever, the creator of one of the biggest action fantasy series of all time. Please give a warm welcome for the creator of The Beginning After the End, the one, the only, TurtleMe! This is the first ever appearance by TurtleMe, so I think it would be super awesome if we could celebrate this moment with a photo. If you could pose for Shreya, who's up here, who's going to take the photo, that'd be really cool.
Yay, everybody scream! Amazing! Thank you.
Yeah, TurtleMe, please join me on stage.
All right. I'm not sure if you guys can hear me, but it's great to be here. Before we begin, can I take a selfie for you guys as well? Can I take a selfie? Thank you.
Awesome.
All right. Thank you.
Oh my gosh. Well, welcome. What do you guys think? Man, how does it feel to be in front of your fans finally like this?
My heart is beating incredibly fast right now, but yeah, it feels good. Nice to
Yeah.
meet you all. Awesome.
So the fans must be wondering, now that you've done the face reveal, now that they know what you look like, they're probably wondering, who is the real TurtleMe?
Well, obviously I'm not a real turtle. I don't look like one either, so sorry to disappoint. My name is Tae-Holly. I go by Brandon to all of you guys, but I'm here today as TurtleMe, the author of The Beginning After the End. Thank you.
And yeah. The fans are probably also wondering, why now? I mean, it's been like 6 years. I've seen the comment section on Instagram, people asking for this for the past couple of years.
I mean, yeah, it's taken a long time. Sorry about that. I think it's just, when I first started, I didn't know what I was doing. I wanted to hide behind the moniker of TurtleMe to just, let my work speak for itself. And if it doesn't do well, it doesn't do well. But, coming here today, seeing all of you guys 6 years later, I think it was the right choice. But I'm sorry it took so long.
The fans must also be wondering, like, what got you into storytelling? Like what started it all?
I think, like all writers, we started from reading, right? I was an avid reader, you know. My parents can attest to this as well, but they thought I was studying. You know, they thought that the big books with long English words were textbooks, but it wasn't. Yeah, I mean, that's how it started. I consumed everything, and at a certain point, I just thought, why not try writing?
Yeah. Do you have any like specific examples of what inspired you as a kid?
Gosh, I consumed everything. I mean, from Western epics, like the classics of like An Cycle and the Farseer trilogy, to more like going over to mangas, going over to light novels, you know, like Coiling Dragon, Mushoku Tensei,
Yeah.
like all of them.
Yeah. By show of hands, do we have any writers or artists in the audience in attendance? Look at that. All right. Do you think it's like kind of surreal that there's probably someone in the audience right now that's probably going to be on a panel in the future that's probably going to say, you know, the beginning after the end is what got me into all of this?
I hope I'm still alive and kicking to see that day.
It might only be like a couple years.
Fingers crossed.
You know, one thing that I'm personally curious about is like, what gave you the courage to kind of tell this story? You know, putting yourself out there as a writer is a very scary thing for a lot of people. And you know, as a debut series for you, like, yeah, what gave you the courage to do it?
I'm not sure if it was courage or stupidity, but I started publishing just right when I started writing. You know, I just posted up on a web serial platform, and I just took it from there. But yeah, thinking back on it now, I don't think it was the best decision, but it got me to where I am today.
I mean, I think all the fans here are pretty grateful that you did make that decision, right?
Yeah.
What's you know, you're doing this full time at this point, which is pretty wild. I mean, what's a day in the life of TurtleMe like?
Let's see. After my morning coffee, I start the day off by ignoring all my emails and obligations, and I just sit down and write. Yes. And that just carries me till lunchtime. By then, after lunch, that's when I kind of have to go into all the meetings and check all the emails and stuff, which, you know, as a writer, I didn't think I'd get that much of, but I guess I was proven wrong.
Yeah. Do you still make time to still keep up with reading and enjoying comics and novels?
Right. Reading even fantasy novels has become a bit different for me after I became a writer. Like, you can see my Kindle and you can see my books at home. Like, they're filled with notes. Like, so I studied them and I just mark everything. So it took a little bit of the joy out of just reading it as a reader, but I definitely still try to make time for it.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, it's what got us into this in the first place.
Right.
Yeah. Like I mentioned earlier, you're doing this full time. How has the beginning after the end changed your life? And hopefully for the better.
Yes, for the better. So seeing you guys all here, for the better, definitely. But yeah, I mean, it came in stages, I think. You know, writing it as a hobby, there wasn't really that much pressure. Just, you know, just posting as I go. But, you know, once more and more people started reading, that burden kind of piled up. I was kind of like, oh crap, people are actually reading this, and people are actually looking forward to it. I don't want to disappoint them. And, you know, taking it all the way to here, you know, publishing with Tapas, you know, having it printed with Yen Press, I think it just really dawns on me that, like, you know, wow, look how far I've come.
Yeah, I mean, right now, the beginning after the end is not only being distributed in English, but, you know, we're also serializing in Korean, Japanese, Chinese, Spanish, and it does in more languages. I mean, how does it feel to know that it's not just, you know, an American-based audience, but it's really like a global audience that is in love with this series?
It's still surreal to me at times, honestly.
Yeah.
Like, just seeing it in different languages, you know, but seeing all the comments in different languages, languages that I can't read, and sometimes I Google Translate just to read. It's crazy to me, and I still can't believe it. And honestly, just coming from a web serial platform where I'm doing everything on my own, I'm having these partners to really help reach an audience that I have no access to. I think that was a big part of it.
Yeah, for sure. What do you think makes the beginning after the end so universal, I guess?
Because I wrote it. No, I wrote T-Bait when I wasn't having the best time in life. I think I used the world of living after the end through Arthur's lenses as a way to escape, as an outlet to just kind of get lost in. And so, I still remember sitting in Starbucks after finishing work, just writing. And, that's just kind of where it all started. And I'm glad that, reading some of the comments, I see a lot of readers thinking the same way, that when they're having a hard time, they're still able to enjoy TBH. So that's honestly one of the biggest blessings.
Yeah, no, that's awesome. Maybe a little bit of a pivot, but what are some of the challenges? I mean, doing this full time, there must be, some downside to it, right?
I mean, there's the usual of deadlines. I'm working with so many people now, and
I'm sorry.
and on Discord, every Friday at 9:59 a.m., they're like, "Where's the chapter?" So those kind of things. But also, I mean, one thing that's a little bit personal is just, I see so many comments on social media talking about, recommending the beginning after the end, which, it's a lovely thing, but a lot of them, they don't know that it's actually from Tapas. They source it to pirate sites.
Yeah.
And we try so hard to make it accessible. Even season 1 is free now.
Yeah.
We try to make it accessible so that everyone can try and read it. But yeah, it's a little bit of a challenge, and it's hard to know that I can't really do much about it at this point. But yeah.
Yeah. And for those that don't know, we've been planning to do this debut for a while, and Brandon had come to us and asked, hey, for Anime NYC, could we celebrate a little and make the entire first season free online, so anyone and everyone can read it. I think it was a big goal of ours, to make sure that we weren't keeping any away from being able to experience the beginning after the end. And so we also just recently introduced a 3-hour wait until free, right? Can you talk, I guess, a little bit about that?
I mean, basically, now after unlocking a chapter, you can unlock the next chapter for free after 3 hours. So, I'm constantly talking with Tapas team members and trying to make it more accessible to everyone.
Yeah, I mean, how many episodes have we published for TBH so far? Hundreds, right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
a lot, and I think there's going to be a bit more to come. I'm not sure how many years more it'll take, but I think at least 10, I'm not sure.
Yeah. I mean, are y'all looking forward to 10 more years of the beginning? A minimum of 10 maybe.
Okay, for the comic, yes, I think so.
Yeah. We had to take a moment and talk about the physical books that came out recently, and major kudos and shout out to Yen Press, who have been amazing partners. We were really surprised that they wanted to do a full color print edition of this. We were super shocked. I mean, what was it like getting your hands on a physical copy for the first time?
I think it meant a little bit more to me because I started as self-published. I think, that dream of walking past by it in the bookshelf, having people kind of hold on to it, being able to hold it in your hand, and that was a pretty big goal of mine. But thanks to Yen Press, that really did happen. And honestly, I think the quality is great. And just seeing it on the bookshelf, I still kind of secretly stop by Barnes and Nobles just to kind of see if it's still there. And yeah, it's a good feeling.
Yeah, every once in a while when I'm stopping by Barnes and Noble, I'll put the cover in front of other covers. Just trying to help you out.
Don't do that, please.
But I remember when we first got the proofs of the physical copy, we were absolutely blown away. And you actually asked us something really interesting, right?
Yeah, I asked Yen Press if I can get the proofs, the very first edition of the books, just to kind of stow it away so that my children and grandchildren, after I died, they can sell it for. No, I'm just kidding. No, I just wanted to have it in my collection, and maybe later on see what we can do with it.
Yeah. No, that was really awesome that Yen Press was able to send that over, because it is a very strange ask, I would say. How long have you been working on the beginning after the end?
It's been 6 years now, guys. It's been 6 years. Definitely, I felt like as a writer, I've improved over the years. But starting from when I was publishing chapter by chapter, and now having editors and team and staff, and just helping me along the way now, I think it was a big change. But it's crazy to see where I've come, and being able to talk with all of you all.
Yeah, for sure. And what is it like working with Fuyuki23? I mean, you've been working together with him for years at this point.
Right. I mean, the two of us are both creatives. We both have our vision for things, and even though it's my novel, it's my story, he also has a big creative input into it. And we share ideas, And that at first it was an adjustment, having another creative that's passionate about the project as well. We've clashed at times. We've debated whether which scene is better to show, but I think it made me grow as a professional. Now I'm able to have team members, have staff, like all my Discord mods, all my mods on Reddit, and even my assistant Laura. Just having, and everyone from Tapas as well. Being able to work with you and collaborate with all of you, I think it started from working with Fuyuki because he's the one that kind of allowed me to grow as a professional.
Yeah, and there's maybe an alternate timeline where that might not have happened, right?
Right. So a funny story is I almost rejected Fuyuki 23.
Yeah, gas with the audience.
When his portfolio first came, I think there was a small misunderstanding, and he thought that the vignette at the end was a more shonen style. So the characters, when he drew the scene, was a little bit more bubbly, and I was like, oh, like the dynamics of the scenes are really cool, but the art style isn't really what I was looking for. But thankfully, my editor Gabby had the good sense to slap me on the back of the head and say, try again, look again. And so we got another round of a portfolio from him, and he actually drew it back into his own original style, which is what you see say. And that's the story. We're here today working with him still.
Well, I think it's great that Fuyuki's original style is the one that you felt matched what you wanted to do creatively with the beginning after that. I think that's like a match made in heaven, right?
I know, and it's a blessing because it's hard to say that, it's hard for it to come that easily normally, and I was really lucky in that sense.
Yeah. So, I mean, you've been working on the novel for such a long time, the comic for such a long time. What keeps you excited and motivated to keep going after all this time?
Threatening letters from my fans. No, I think the readers, just how much my readership has grown, just people waiting for it. That is a big drive.
Yeah.
And honestly, it's hard because as a web serial, I'm expected to publish a chapter every week, but creative content doesn't come on a schedule.
Yeah.
And so learning how to adjust to that, just learning how to schedule around that, and even if it means not being able to post as much, just having it more regular, just making time for that, I think that's just how I've kept going at it for 6 years now.
I think we have to go back to this, the big reveal of, your debut as a creator on this stage for the fans in New York. How does it feel now to finally be out there and probably not be able to walk the con floor anymore without people coming up to you?
This is a big con. I don't know why you're hyping me up that way, but it's good seeing you all. It's like I've seen you all through the screen and through images and pictures, but seeing everyone's expressions here, seeing everyone's face, I think I can't describe that into words.
Yeah.
It's very different,
yeah.
And it's a little nerve-wracking, but bear with me.
Yeah. I believe that we are going to move into Q&A, but right before that, we put together 2 special announcements for this audience here because we really wanted to celebrate this moment. Brandon, what do you want to tell the audience?
Right. So, Volume 2 is coming out soon. You can pre-order it now. And it'll be out on February 2023, so not too long.
Yeah. Again, full color. Yen Press is doing amazing work. It looks incredible, right? Yeah. And we didn't just want to leave you there, so we also wanted to announce something else.
So after Yen Press seeing how quickly this room packed, they were like, oh crap, we need to make more. So thankfully, Yen Press, they were so kind enough to decide to publish the next 3 volumes. So 3 through 6 will also be launching as well. And hopefully more to come. And it'll be a lot because there's a lot more content. And I'm hoping that you guys have a dedicated bookshelf just for TV. Just kidding.
No, not kidding. All right. And, again, thank you so much for coming out to this panel. It means the world to us that so many fans were willing to wait this long and to line up and to, do all these things. And unfortunately, all of the signings for the weekend have been taken up, but Brandon asked us to put together a special event for those that couldn't get one of those spots. And so we'll be hosting a book signing on Sunday at Kinokuniya. The way to get it is that the first 100 fans to purchase a book at the Kinokuniya booth, which you can find at booth 240, or at their physical location, which is listed up there, we'll be able to get into a small private signing with TurtleMe, and that'll be hosted on this Sunday. Again, Brandon kind of going above and beyond to make sure that he's able to meet as many fans as possible, which is awesome. I believe now we will actually open the floor up for Q&A, fan Q&A. Mallory, who's raising her hand right here, will be selecting the participants. Yeah, we'll call on the gentleman in the front.
I will say it has been a wonderful story. I started with light novel first, finished all 8 volumes in the first week of reading it, and now I'm all caught up with that.
Oh, wow.
One question, is there going to be a print version of the volume?
Print volume is definitely something that's been asked, so thank you. Great question. I think, I definitely want what's best for the book, just like how Yen Press partnered with me and they were able to distribute it so wide. I'm hoping that, with the right partners, we're able to make that happen just so that it's accessible to everyone, anyone.
And then I just have one more. Is there any works for anime?
Huh? Can you repeat the question?
Is there any works for anime anytime soon?
Oh. I don't know, you guys have to go around and make a big enough scene for that to happen here. No, I'm just kidding.
Anyone else want to jump into that?
Thank you for the
please
question.
come to the front of the stage. We'll give you a exclusive pin.
Nice to meet you. See, there's one disappointed fan that I expected. No, I'm just kidding. I mean, Turtle kind of came out of nowhere. It just always used to be my username, and it just kind of stuck with me. Had I known that I would get to where I am now, I would have chosen a cooler pen name. I think it's a little bit too late to change that, but yeah, sorry to disappoint no turtles. Just me.
Awesome. Thank you, Gabby. You will grab your pen. All right, I'm going to ask anyone in the back here have a question? All right, you can go now.
It's nice to meet you.
I think Turtle is
Thank you.
My name is Dylan. Well, first, thank you so much for your work. Your work is very enjoyable.
Thank you.
I still have 2 more questions. So the first question is, how did you end up coming up with the name at the beginning after end? And 2 is, what is the hardest character that you had to develop for the series?
Yeah, so a great question. Thank you. The beginning after the end, it just came in because, well, the next reason is going to be kind of a spoiler, but this reason is because the beginning started with after the life of Gray has ended. The second part is to be determined. And yeah, as for the second part question, which was,
Who's the most difficult?
yes, the most difficult. Honestly, I would say a small spoiler, but not too important. It's just Byron. I think that was one of the hardest to sort of build, just because he was such a hated character from the beginning, but making him grow and develop, I think not just me, but all the readers really enjoyed that as well.
Any questions on this side? We're going to try to get to as many as we can. All right, if you just want to say your name and ask your question.
Hi, I'm Sophia, and my question is, what was your biggest inspiration?
I mean, the biggest inspiration first of all, thank you, great question. I think the biggest inspirations just came from the main kind of books that I read growing up. I read a mixture of Western fiction, which is, again, like The Inheritance Cycle, Aragon, and then also Japanese manga and light novels like Mushoku Tensei, and even like wuxia novels like Coiling Dragon. So really, T-Bait is an amalgamation. It's an ode to all the things that I grew up reading.
Awesome. Anyone over here? You and Liz.
Hi, my name is Edie, and
Okay.
Why do you feel relieved now that you're kind of out in the open
Do you feel relieved?
do I feel relieved?
instead of like hiding behind a monitor?
Ooh, got attacked. I got attacked. No, good question. I think there's a part of me that I feel relieved just because I'm able to see you all in person. I'm able to kind of say hi to you. If you guys walk up to me, just be able to take a picture with you. That's an experience now I can have that I wasn't able to, but at the same time, now I'm vulnerable. So.
And then the second part was it hard to balance between telling people who you actually were?
Yeah, I mean, ask my wife as well. Like, we kind of came up with this thing where, like, when people ask what I do, we kind of came up with like, hey, I'm just a copywriter, or I'm just a freelance writer. I just kind of left it vague like that because if I say I'm an author, then comes the 20 questions. They're like,
Yeah.
oh, did you write anything I know, and then it just goes into that deep. So
You're
yeah.
like a superhero then.
No, I'm not. Don't. Yes.
Come on this side. All right, we're gonna go right here.
Hi, I'm Lainey, and I was wondering from someone who has always dreamed of being an author, how do you deal with like burnout or writer's block?
Yeah, great question. It's still hard, honestly. It's going to be a challenge whenever, whoever, like however long you've written. But I think managing it is the key. Again, like I said before, there's times when I'm not as creatively active. I don't know what to write next. But what I do when I'm able to think of the next things is, I write an outline. I talk to a lot of people. I bad ideas. And so it's just being able to manage all of that, and even if it means writing slower, if you're thinking of writing in a web serial space, just going with a timeline that you can keep up with.
All right, we have time for one more question. If you want to say your name and then.
Hi there, my name is Selena, and my question is, what is your biggest regret in the comic, the novels,
Oof, that's a great question, thank you. I think, again, I wrote it as a web serial, and whether it was brave or stupid, I just published it right away out into the open, first draft. So a lot of it, the first parts of it, I feel like I could have done some things better, whether it's lay out the characters a little bit better, but lay out the world a little bit more efficiently. But I think at the end of the day, it's where it is right now because I just decided to wing it. Thank you.
Because it's like such a cool moment, did you want to close out the panel with some thoughts or words?
Yeah, I mean, again, I can't say this enough. It's a blessing being able to see all of you here in person, and looking through it at a screen, it's different. But honestly, throughout the whole way, you guys have been supporting me, and you guys have made all this possible. So thank you so much.
All right. Thank you all for coming. You can stop by the Tapas booth at booth 554. We will be hanging out, and you might be able to see TurtleMe in person. All right.
And then